city of Dallas, Texas, the crown jewel of the entire state of Texas. A beautiful skyline and a beautiful new racetrack to host the SCCA Trans Am Tour. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin. Final event of the 1993 Trans Am season. Joining us today, Elliott Forbes Robinson, past Trans Am champion. Elliott, first time for these cars around Reunion Arena in downtown.
It is, and everybody's here for the first time, so they're all trying to set up their cars and learn this track. And it's going to be a tough track, partly because it's short and there'll be a lot of lapping here.
Scott Sharp clinched the title last week, but there's a lot of battling going on for pride's sake, really, this weekend.
Well, there is, and also for points, because Jack Baldwin does have the chance of finishing second over Ron Fellows, which would give Buzz McCall a 1-2 finish for the third year in a row.
Lots of great stars ready to do battle here. We'll meet some of them in a moment. Bill Hennessy is on pit road for us today.
Thanks, fellows. The season-ending finale takes place here in Dallas, Texas. As everyone well knows, the man on the pole is Scott Sharp. We'll be talking to several of the drivers in just a few moments.
All right, thank you, Bill Hennessy. Just a beautiful day to go racing around downtown Dallas, here around Reunion Arena, the brand new Grand Prix of Dallas course. About 87 degrees at race time with scattered clouds, much blue sky, humidity around 70% today. It'll be a day that'll test these drivers around this 1.4-mile street circuit. Well, the cars are lining up for the start of today's SCCA Trans Am Tour event. Let's find out what the thoughts are of some of these other drivers who'll do battle today. Here's Bill Hennessy.
Scott Sharp, season finale. You've already won the championship. Starting on the pole, can you finish in the #1 position?
Well, I sure hope so. You know, it's 77 laps around here is more of an endurance for us than it is a sprint, that's for sure. And I'm thrilled to have the Rain X Camaro up front, but it's going to be take a job of really taking care of the tires all day long, having a strong car for the finish. I think, you know, being in the championship position that I'm in, I can take the chances maybe some of the other guys can't.
Got your cool suit on?
Got a cool hat. I just found out. That's all I'm running.
Oh, we're going to have a little body perspiration today.
You got it.
Scott Sharp, he starts on the pole. Outside front row for a guy that normally talks a really good race and has won one this year in Detroit. Dorsey Schrader, you're on the outside front row wearing a Dale Jarrett uniform. If you take the Dorsey Schrader off, says Dale Jarrett. He won the Daytona 500. Can you win here at Dallas?
Yeah, we can win here, no doubt about it. We need to stay clean for 50 laps. You know, that's going to be hard enough to do with back traffic. You know, passing people is going to be tough. If we're out of here at 50 laps from now, you know, whoever's left to play, we're going to play awful hard.
Well, you got to make it through turn 1.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I think we'll be okay there. We got good, real hard tires on it back here, and it's real hot today. And, you know, Jim Durhug called that with the 600s on the back. I think that's going to be what wins us the race, too, I'll tell you. It was real greasy in the Fast 5 yesterday, about 10, 12 laps in. We were slipping and sliding. If that happens to these guys on these 430s, we're out of here.
Best of luck.
Thanks, man.
For Jack Baldwin, starting in the second row here. Very, very hot. Where's your cool suit? Where's your cool hat?
Well, we're going to wear I'm going to wear a cool cap. I don't want to wear a cool suit, but I wear a cool cap and try to stay cool in this Hot Wheels race car.
Can you win here?
Oh, I can win here. Absolutely, I can win here. It's going to take some patience, and you're going to have to be aggressive at the right time, but we can get it done.
How about your tires? You're not going to burn them off this afternoon, are you?
I'm not going to burn my tires off, I don't think.
Sounds like a conservative race for Jack Baldwin.
Thank you.
Well, the driving title for 1993 and the Trans Am Tour has been decided. Scott Sharp has locked that championship up. Ron Fellows looks to be a good bet to continue in second spot today. Jack Baldwin, Bobby, and Tommy Archer rounding out the top 5. And a good battle, really, for third. Baldwin and the Archer brothers with plenty there to settle among themselves at today's Grand Prix of Dallas. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineup and put the field under green for the final event of the 1993 Trans Am Tour right after this.
To make Dodge Intrepid more spacious, we moved the wheels that normally go here, out, and back to here. Up front, the wheels that were here were moved out to here. It's a concept called cab forward that yields astonishing room for people like me. While good things like wider doors, sports car handling, and superb aerodynamics came along for the ride. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
The driver who plans ahead usually comes out ahead, too. That's why it's smart to change your oil every 3,000 miles.
And shop Walmart for savings every day.
Save on Castrol GTX motor oil. It provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. And Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
So no matter where you're headed, head first to Walmart.
Where the prices are always going down. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
The Big Bang. Some believe the sound can still be heard rumbling through space. Now, get ready for the echo. Bo versus Holyfield in a rematch of one of the greatest fights ever. Bo owns the title. Holyfield wants it back. Repeat or revenge. Live from Caesar's Palace. Available only on pay-per-view. Call your local cable operator to order. Brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers.
Let's get ready to rumble!
For quick response. For smooth acceleration. Turn him loose. For a cleaner engine. Turn him loose. Move up to high-octane Exxon Supreme and turn the Tiger loose.
ESPN Speed World, brought to you by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
Welcome back to the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas. Final round of the 1993 SCCA Trans Am Tour. The field on the racetrack getting set to line it up. Let's show you the first 5 rows today. Scott Sharp, your pole qualifier. Dorsey Schrader, a surprise on the outside of row 1. Mitch Wright and Jack Baldwin in the second row. Paul Gentilozzi back in the series, qualifies 5th quickest with Bobby Archer in row 3. Ron Fellows with a couple of wins this year, and George Robinson, a Texas driver, in the 4th row. Tommy Archer and Greg Pickett round out row 5. And right back, one spot behind, R.K. Smith moving up to the Trans Am Tour with a brand new car. We'll talk more about him. R.K. won the World Challenge event here this weekend. He's stepping up to the Trans Am, qualifies 11th in a car that is just out of the race shop and onto the racetrack. Scott Sharp's 9th pole of the season. That sets an all-time season record, breaking the great Mark Donahue's record. That's quite an achievement, Elliot.
No, that is a big achievement. Mark had a very good car, did very well, dominated for quite a while, and Scott's been doing the same thing here this year. And there, you know, you talked about RK's car. That's a brand new car, but so's Gentilozzi's. But Gentilozzi's got his working much better this year to start with. Very warm day here. Temperature in the high 80s, maybe cresting 90. Pretty muggy here. We understand some of the members of the color guard that brought out the pre-race colors for our pageantry here at Dallas today has been overcome temporarily by some of the heat, so it'll be a real factor for many of these drivers. Set to put them under green today. 35 cars. Scott Sharp is your pole sitter. Dorsey Schrader, the car with the lime green trim under the front bumper there. On the outside of the pole, the green flag is out. We're underway. Great to have you with us. Scott Sharp takes the lead into turn 1. One of the Archer cars on the inside of Dorsey Schrader trying to get second spot away from him. Mitch Wright, who qualified 3rd, makes the move and tries to move up to second spot as they funnel down, but Dorsey Schrader holds on to second. Jack Baldwin has moved up to 3rd. Yeah, this is a tough racetrack, and especially the first lap when everybody has to get through single file and you just don't want to. Talked to Dorsey earlier. He said, yeah, I'm definitely going to try to lead into that first corner, because if I don't, I'm going to have problems. Scott Sharp gets the drop on him, and Scott is fast enough he might be able to run off and hide. He could be. He's been very, very fast here, but Dorsey, I don't think is going to let him get away, and you notice Dorsey is right back up in second place and on his tail already. Jack Baldwin, Mitch Wright, and Gentilozzi round out your top 5 as we take a look back at the rest of the field. Everything's starting to sort out a little bit now. Cars working through turn 9. These cars very, very quick. They'll turn a lap here in 55, 56 seconds with clear racetrack ahead of them. This is a 1.3-mile circuit, and we've got trouble already. One of the Mustangs in trouble. That's the 65 automobile, Jim Stevens, young driver out of Farmington Hills, Michigan, with heavy damage to the left front corner of that car. He's going to pull the car out of the racing groove and out of the line, and he apparently will be out of contention here today. Sharp and Dorsey Schrader running 1 and 2. Jack Baldwin, who won last week, up to 3rd. Let's take you back and take a look at how Jim Stevens got into trouble here on the backstretch. Stevens' car on the inside, you see him get swirly there up against the concrete and right into the wall. Yeah, it looks like he tried to make a pass, and the other car came down on him at the same time, and he had no place to go, tagged the wall, and turned him sideways. One of the Roush Racing cars with problems, a 66 car in some difficulty there also. And moving back into the groove, though, the 66 Jimmy Landrum out of Dallas, veteran late model driver on the paved tracks of Texas. Landrum with a couple of Trans Am starts over the last several years in this Dallas event. Your leader, Scott Sharp, running 2nd. Dorsey Schrader in the top 5 is Gentilozzi. Here's turn 1, and here's a look at what happened to Jimmy Landrum in the 66. That's Deborah Gregg in car number 2. And we see Bruce Barkaloo spinning in the 77. Landrum had to stop, so it really wasn't Landrum's fault at all. Not at all.
Markaloo refires and gets going. Scott Sharp still your leader. Dorsey Schrader, Jack Baldwin up to third. Now, Baldwin struggled all year. The defending champion finally won a race last weekend. He feels very good going into today's event.
Well, you know, after a great year last year and winning the championship, Jack has gone out there and had one thing after another go wrong, from flat tires to drive shafts, and it just seems like he's been snake bit this year. But it's good to see him win the race and be up front again. And, you know, he's right in the thick of this thing, but it looks like Dorsey is just giving Scott no break. Oh, my gosh.
We got more trouble. Another car, one of the Chevrolets, into the wall on the course. Looks like he's got an overheating problem of some sort. Trying to get the car refired. There must be a problem. The driver scrambling out of that car.
There's some fire underneath there. It looks like they're trying to put it out of fire here.
Might be the 89 car. Can't see the number on the vehicle yet. We'll go back and take a look at that later. Here's your leader, Scott Sharp, Dorsey Schrader, Jack Baldwin, and Mitch Wright, the top four. Paul Gentilozzi is fifth. Another of the Archer cars running there at sixth. Ron Fellows is seventh. Fellows qualified seventh, so he is riding where he started this event at this point. Fellows, a guy who's had a frustrating last several events. He was very hot at the beginning of the year.
He was very hot, but then the Chevrolets came on and seemed to dominate after that. And Ron has been good, but just not good enough. He had some good races at Lime Rock and some other tracks, but for some reason the Chevrolets have been really strong here late in the year.
Bobby Archer in car number 9 has put on a great move. Bobby has moved up to fourth. Mitch Wright, the driver in car number 8, back in sixth. There's Fellows in the AER McKenzie Mustang out of the Tom Gloy stables. He is running in seventh spot. Fellows, a driver who had high hopes that this might be his year to pick up the Trans Am driving championship. It won't be that way for him this year, but he is very much in contention for a top 5 point finish. Here is the crown champion, Scott Sharp, in his Rain-X Camaro out of the Buzz McCall stables. He is your leader. Dorsey Schrader back in action in the Jim Durhag car these last 2 weeks. Dorsey really with a bonsai charge to qualify second fastest here this weekend.
Dorsey's done a super job in that car of Jim Durhag. And you know what we're seeing here also is that there has been some high tire temperatures on these cars. And I think you're going to find that some of the drivers are taking different tactics. Some of them have harder tires on the left rear or on the back of the car, as does Dorsey. Other drivers are going to take it easy at the beginning of the race and try and save the tires so that they'll have a lot of rubber left or adhesion left for the end of the race.
Dorsey told us before the race he felt that if they had long green flag runs, 10, 15, 20 laps in a shot, he would have a very good opportunity with the hard rear tires he selected today, but he's got a lot to deal with in Scott Sharp and that Rain-X Chevrolet, the 33 car. Sharp really the dominant force this year in the Trans Am Tour, much like 1991 when he dominated and won the title.
That's right, but the other point of that is some of the folks feel that they have a chance because there has been so many cautions on other races they've held here that they're going to get some cautions and the soft tires will work. We're starting to come up on the traffic, the lap people now, and we're going to start seeing if that takes an effect.
There's how they stand, the first 5 runners in the Grand Prix of Dallas. We'll be back with more Trans Am action after this.
It's not what you imagined. Forget what you expected. Transport yourself into a world like no other. Set here and experience the thrill of Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. Also, Nature's Recipe presents a special intermission monster truck grudge match between Bigfoot and Snakebite. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing, Saturday, November 6th, Candlestick Park. Tickets at all Bass ticket locations. 510-762-BASS.
New Pub Draft Guinness. It's just like a keg, but easier to carry.
At ESPN Sports Center highlight goes like this. Loose ball in the end zone. Fall on it, no chance. My feet are light, and I've got the moves. At the 50, I see Myers. Not now, Chris. I'm a busy man. And as I cross the goal line, I laugh, knowing my agent has just cut a deal for my very own fitness video. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
Back at the Grand Prix of Dallas, Rick Benjamin and Elliott Forbes Robinson with you as Jerry Clinton goes wide and lets your leader Scott Sharp take Dorsey Schrader inside. Clinton, the driver who is going to call it quits after this event. He's been a Trans Am campaigner for several years, a businessman in the St. Louis area, a driver who will really be missed on the tour for his just good humor, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it's good to have Jerry around, but I guess he's going to be busy with if he gets his NFL team now.
That's the effort that he and Walter Payton have been working so hard on for several years. Scott Sharp, your leader. Dorsey Schrader running in second spot. Jack Baldwin has moved to third.
And Mitch Wright looks like he got caught in the traffic a little bit and dropped off of Jack. That's going to put a little more, Jack can work about the cars in front of him now and then instead of what's happening behind him and try and catch up with Dorsey.
Bobby Archer up to fourth, and Mitch Wright had dropped back to sixth spot. Bobby Archer, the only non-Chevrolet able to stay in that lead group at the moment. First four have started to really stretch out their advantage at this point. Sharp and Dorsey Schrader running 1 and 2. Jack Baldwin just kind of content to ride at the moment as we work in the early stages of the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas. There's Baldwin coming up the hill and Bobby Archer. The Archer brothers with a situation for next year. They say they'll be back in Trans Am, but they don't know if they'll be in Dodges or not at this point. They have their sponsorship to go for next year, but they don't necessarily have the car settled in terms of what brand they'll be racing.
Well, you know that they'll be competitive, whatever they come back with. And Bobby Archer went very quick on the second day's practice, and so it's not a surprise that he is running this good up here. He's made up the distance on Jack Baldwin now.
Now we got
Pickett. Greg Pickett's into the wall. Looks like he went straight in at turn 9.
Indeed, a problem for one of the strong competitors, the Cytomax Camaro. Greg Pickett, and now fire out the exhaust as he tries to get that car refired. Pickett has gone right off the corner into the tire barriers. That's where those bricks are. That's where all the trouble happened in the World Challenge event yesterday.
That's a really tough corner. You come off of a left-hander there and then have to dive immediately into a right-hander. And you have to carry a lot of speed because it's a very fast corner onto the longest straight. Very important corner. Doesn't look like Greg did a lot of damage to the car. That's the tires did their job there, so it looks like Greg's going to be able to continue on.
And you're going from pavement to brick to pavement again. I'm sure that has a tendency to upset a race car.
Well, it's very interesting that he went in where he did, because to get in at that point, Greg had to lose it or have a problem before he ever got to that corner, because he never even got to turn for it. He went straight.
Looks as though the safety car is going to come out and pick up the leader. Scott Sharp driving the Rain-X Camaro, the 33. The Jim Durhag car, wheeled by Dorsey Schrader today, is second. Then Jack Baldwin and Bobby Archer. And here's the safety car out on the track after Greg Pickett nailed the tire barrier. Scott Sharp is your race leader. More racing action coming up in a moment.
You're in a nightmare filled with monsters that bite, that crawl, that kill. Welcome to Predators of the Wild, an intense journey through a real-life chamber of horrors from Time Life Video. Face creatures so fearsome only the brave dare get close enough to film them. Seen so close, they will make your skin crawl. Call this toll-free number now and begin your journey to the shadow world with Giant Tarantula, yours for just $9.99. Confront a spider that measures a foot across and has venom so powerful it dissolves its victims from the inside out. Other videos take you deeper into the shadow world. Get Giant Tarantula for just $9.99. Keep only the tapes you want. There's never a commitment to buy. So call now and stare into the eyes of a monster.
To order Predators, call 1-800-544-5557. That's 1-800-544-5557, or set $9.99 plus $3.43 shipping and handling to Predators, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
I'm Mark Sosin from ESPN Saltwater Journal. Estuaries are among our richest and most beautiful resources. Let's preserve and protect this fragile environment. You can make a world of difference.
You can see all the NFL action every Sunday. Sit back. Let us do the work. ESPN NFL Primetime. We'll find every bone-crushing hit, search out every key play, and mix insight from our pros into television's fastest hour of football. NFL Primetime. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Little pace car is in. We're ready to go racing again. A quarter of the way home today in Dallas, and we're back underway. Sharp, Dorsey, Schrader, Baldwin. Here's Bobby Archer again on the outside into turn 1. He takes it a little easier this time, though.
Yep, he locked up the wheels coming in there, but Jack didn't give him quite as much room this time either.
Baldwin maintains third spot over Bobby Archer. Paul Gentilozzi right behind in that brand new black and white Camaro. The 28 is the number on that car. He is running in fifth. Mitch Wright is sixth. There's Baldwin coming up a victory last week, defending Trans Am champion, third in the driver's standings this year. Sharp has clinched the title, and he is leading the way. Dorsey Schrader, I think, really has the attitude we talked to him this morning. I'm going to get after it today, and I'm going to win this race.
Well, Dorsey's giving it everything. Look at him coming up beside Sharp. He's making Sharp work for that. Unfortunately, this corner, you don't get a big advantage trying to get the guy on the inside line. It's not like a 90-degree corner where you can get a shot at him coming off.
The leader is still Scott Sharp, and Dorsey Schrader dogging him hard. We've got some problems on the course. One of the cars putting down quite a smoke screen. It looked like it might have been the Mustang of Michael Dingman with some problems on the backside of the course. Sharp watching Schrader come up behind him. Jack Baldwin looking for a shot on the inside. You've got some drivers there in that first group with tremendous experience in these cars.
Well, they are. And they're right now, Scott's holding it up a little bit, not because he isn't fast enough, but he's having to drive defensive a little bit. He's not taking the good line through the corners, because if he does, then Dorsey's going to go ahead and take the inside. So it's allowing everybody else to stay up with them.
Dingman in car number 41, a veteran road racer. He is stopping. He's going to get tires. That car smoking heavily, maybe an overheating problem. We'll take a look and see what's going on there. Let's take a look back up front in the field as they work down the back straightaway here at the Grand Prix of Dallas course around Reunion Arena. Jack Baldwin to the inside of Dorsey Schrader for second spot. Can't do it.
Now, it's tight there. It's really hard to get by at this racetrack. You can stick your nose in, but to actually make the move is tough. Boy, Jack almost caught the wall there coming out of 9.
Now, you've raced this track. Do you have to be willing to lay a little body work on your competitor to get by?
Well, you know, it seems that way. It seems like you just have to be up there and be willing to do it all the time, because if he leaves a little slight opening, you have to stick your nose in there and see what he's going to do. If he leaves your room, you take it.
Scott Sharp over Dorsey Schrader. Jack Baldwin third. Bobby Archer fourth. There's Gentilozzi in fifth. Sharp working through the loop area of this very rapid 1.3-mile layout here around Reunion Arena in Dallas. The Dodge team, the Archer Brothers 4-car team, showing very well here today in their final outing perhaps as a team, although as we mentioned, the Archers say they'll be back in Trans Am with good sponsorship. Not sure yet what kind of car they'll be driving. There is Sharp, your leader, in the yellow number 33, the Jim Durhag car, wheeled by Dorsey Schrader in second spot. Gentilozzi back there in fifth spot.
You notice how they're not pulling out a lead this time. You know, they're not breaking away from the pack quite so much. Everybody is staying right in there. The top 10 cars are running very much nose to tail.
Mel Dingman is back on the track. Your leader is Schrader. We take a look, rather is Sharp, and Schrader right behind him. We take a look back in the running order. There's R.K. Smith and George Robinson. One of the other cars, that's the Bill Saunders car. You look back at Randy Ruhlman's Mustang. There's Greg Pickett, who had problems earlier. And here's Chris McDougall with a little ding in his body work. Interesting story here. McDougall carrying our in-car camera today. That's one of the Tom Gloy cars. You'll notice it's painted in the Bob Bondurant Pro Search colors. McDougall won this ride, actually 3 of them this year, because he did so well in the Bob Bondurant Pro Search competition. He went through Bondurant school with a host of other drivers. McDougall fared the best, and his prize was 3 Trans Am starts this year in that car. He's finished 8th in the car at Watkins Glen. Right now, he's sitting back at 12th spot, a young driver of whom we may hear much in the months and years to come.
Well, that's a heck of a reward for doing a competition to get to drive Trans Am and in a car that actually has the capability of winning races.
McDougall doing a nice job out there, even though the front bodywork on that car's got some damage. He was in a skirmish earlier on. Here's your leader, Scott Sharp, in car number 33. No change among the top 4. Still Schrader in second, Jack Baldwin, Bobby Archer. No change in the top 5. Really, Gentilozzi has been there from the start today. We're working up toward lap 30. We're getting close to that halfway point this afternoon at the Grand Prix of Dallas. What's your strategy, Elliott? 100 miles, you're a past Trans Am champion. These races are all about the same length. Do you sit it out until the last 10, 15 laps?
Well, it depends on how your car is working, but you try and take it a little bit easy on the car so that you have something left for the end, because you don't want to use it all up and then have the people drive by you in the last couple laps of the race.
Ron Fellows, one of the drivers who's hoping to have a little more to show later on. Fellows, twice a winner early in the year. He struggled here of late. Still with a chance at finishing in the top 5 in driver points. Fellows gritting 7th today and trying to move up on the field as they work up onto the main straightaway. Again, your leader Sharp, then Schrader, then Baldwin. There's Gentilozzi in 5th. And there's Ron Fellows back in about the 8th spot, working on the 3-car, driven by Tommy Archer. Right behind him, George Robinson, who has been a past Trans Am winner. Robinson, a Texas native out of Houston, the 74 Hunting Ranch, his sponsor, family business, just south of San Antonio. If you're into big game hunting, George can take care of you down there. They've got quite a spread for sportsmen who like bow or rifle or shotgun hunting, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's a great place that George has in that ranch. And, you know, the other thing is that George and also Ron Fellows, they're the kind of guys, when they've won their races, they have been out there running very conservatively, and then at the end of the race, they come up. They're thinking drivers.
Battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th, really. Fellows right now is 8th. George Robinson is 9th. A little further back, R.K. Smith in that brand new car sitting in the 10th position. R.K. started 11th, and he has come up to 10th spot at this point. We'll be back to bring you more of the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas in a moment. Stay with us.
This ESPN program is brought to you by over 6,500 Radio Shack stores nationwide.
At Radio Shack, we've always made the latest technology easy to understand for your family. And now our CD-ROM computers make it easy to bring entire libraries to life. Experience the power of Tandy multimedia computers. Only at Radio Shack.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. There isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
Top Rank Boxing. It's a battle of hard-hitting knockout artists as former junior lightweight champion Calvin Grove clashes with highly touted Pete Taliaferro. Top Rank Boxing, Wednesday, live on ESPN.
Back at the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas, Rick Benjamin and Elliott Forbes Robinson with you. Great to have you with us today. On pit road, the driver who's been running second. Here's Bill Hennessy.
Dorsey Schrader, problems now on the left rear. Schrader's car back into the pits after running as high as fifth. He made a strong charge from the back of the pack, but his ill luck continues here at Dallas in the final race of the season.
Bolting on a new right rear tire, they dropped the jack, and Dorsey Schrader's coming back on the racetrack. But Elliott, he's going to have his work cut out for him now.
It's going to be tough to be going through, but I guess he feels that it's worth the advantage of the new tires.
As we watch leader Scott Sharp snake his car back and forth. Now, he did not elect to stop for tires. That's the lead pack of cars. We'll take you back and show you how much work Dorsey Schrader is going to have to do to get back up into contention today. And he's only got about 35, 40 laps to do that, Elliott.
It's not long, and there's a lot of cars here. And they're not going to be watching their mirrors particularly because they're not going to expect to see somebody coming through with that kind of closing rate. But as you can also see, when these guys are just scrubbing their tires, there he is now coming back. Incredible amount of cars in front of him.
Yeah.
But his tires did not pick up because the new tires, they're cold. They are not picking up the rubber off the track. And as you can watch, when these guys are scrubbing their tires, they're leaving rubber all over the place right now.
Dorsey put on a right rear, we're told, one brand new, and it's still a hard compound tire. Now, Scott Sharp of the front runners did not pit for tires. Ready to get back to it here. The Grand Prix of Dallas, the SCCA Trans Am Tour. Glad to have you with us today. We're back under green. Sharp, your leader in the 33. His teammate Baldwin second. And one of the Archer cars, then Paul Gentilozzi running in fourth spot. Two more of the Archer cars get out of shape there.
Yeah, it's really hard to put down the traction right now, and the cars are getting squirrely. You can see it with everyone sliding. You can see the amount of black we're getting down on the pavement right now. And these guys have really got their work cut out for them right now because that car is hard to keep on the road.
Bobby Archer sitting third in car number 9. Tommy, who won at Lime Rock, his brother, is fifth right now in car number 3. But Scott Sharp really has the equation figured out today at the Grand Prix of Dallas. Meantime, here one of the Archers moving to the inside of Jack Baldwin, trying to make a move. Can't quite do it. Bobby Archer has to back out of it just a little and settle for third spot. And that's one of those places where a lot of drivers, I think, want to try to pass, but very hard to make it work.
It's very hard to make it work a lot of places here. And, you know, the other thing that happens here is that Scott has now got a lot of pressure relieved off of him because the guy that's behind him shouldn't hit.
Oh,
my
and one of the
gosh,
Archers out of shape.
Whoa, he's hurt.
Bobby Archer locks him up and keeps the car off the wall. Unbelievable bit of driving by Bobby Archer in car number 9. He came up over the hill there and got out of shape trying to wrestle his way by Jack Baldwin.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little behind in the steering there for sure. He's one way, then the other way, locked up everything, and just no place to go. And Jack was just lucky he didn't spin him out at the same time.
Bobby caromed off the Baldwin automobile and the wall, but didn't do extremely heavy damage, although I'm sure the car is dinged a bit. You can see some of the bodywork paying the price there as Bobby Archer stopped. Let's take a look back at this. They're coming up the hill off the green flag to get back on the throttle, and here's Archer.
Yeah, Archer made a move to the inside of Jack. There he hits Jack. Now he gets back the other way. He's a little bit late on the steering, tries to lock it up and stops. But what happened there was that Jack was taking a little bit of a defensive line, and I guess that Bobby just didn't expect it, made a little bit too hard a swing to miss him.
Now, if you know the history of the Archer brothers, you know they came up through this sport through ice racing in Minnesota, where they grew up and where they now live. That slide for life might be an old ice racing trick. What do you think, Elliot?
Well, I mean, he did a heck of a job of saving it, even the amount he did at that particular time. But you know, these tires right now are really, really slick.
Now we're just in the early going in the second half of this event as we look at the top 7 or 8 cars. We're going to look back and see how Dorsey Schrader is doing coming up through the field as your leader is Sharp, then Baldwin, then Gentilozzi, the top 3 on the back side of the race course here around Reunion Arena. 2 of the Archer cars, and there is Dorsey Schrader, who is running second, elected to stop for tires. He's behind the lap car of Mark Peelsticker at the moment, the 99. Dorsey Schrader sitting 17th on the field, last car on the lead lap, and he's really got a long way to go. But here he goes to the inside of Peelsticker. He's got one of the Roush cars right ahead of him, the Pepsi car of John Gooding up in front there. So Dorsey makes the move on Peelsticker with those new tires, or that one new tire. He ought to have an advantage. There's more trouble on the racetrack meantime down in turn 8. One of the red automobiles turning around. Looks like it might be one of the Archer cars there in trouble as well, and it is. It's the 3 car in trouble. Tommy Archer looping it and getting crossed up on the inside. Tough afternoon for the Archer team.
Yeah, it looks like both of the Archer brothers have had some trouble there, and that's a tough spot. He was lucky he wasn't hit by somebody else sitting in that spot.
Tommy Archer with a victory this year in Lime Rock, and he's going to proceed very slowly to the pits. Bobby Archer also with problems. We showed you that just a moment ago. Meantime, the 2 AER Racing teammates, the 2 Buzz McCall team entries of Scott Sharp and Jack Baldwin, side by side for the leaders. Baldwin.
Whoa, Baldwin, heck of a move. Coming into turn 8 on the outside. I haven't seen that move in this track at all. That is a tough move to make. I think he's also lucky it was his teammate because they wouldn't come together. But that is a heck of a move. The other interesting thing is what kind of lead these guys have all of a sudden got over Gentilozzi was right behind them there.
That's right. We'll have to see if Gentilozzi's running into problems on the racetrack with the Archer brothers having trouble. We see that now George Robinson's being scored in third, so Gentilozzi may have a problem. Let's take a look back at how Jack Baldwin snatched the lead away from his teammate Scott Sharp. Here they are coming up onto the straightaway, and Baldwin to the outside.
And it's an incredible move. Scott is taking a little bit of a defensive line. Jack came down the outside and then just squeezed Scott just enough at the end. And then this turn is long enough that is not a big advantage to be in on the inside. But man, that is an excellent move by Baldwin.
We talked earlier about how tough it is to pass on the outside here at Dallas. Baldwin pulls it off. Scott Sharp is second. Here's the battle for third now. George Robinson and all the trouble the Archer brothers have had. He has now moved into third spot. R.K. Smith is up to fourth in the 25. Great job by R.K., your old compadre from the World Challenge Series. The 2 Archer brothers having problems. Now Scott Sharp looks like he's off the pace. We got a glimpse of Sharp diving for the pits there as they came up the hill. So maybe Sharp with some problems in the 33 car.
Maybe we're going to see some tire problems here because we've seen a couple people stop for tires, and maybe that was not a bad move at all because it looks like he does have a flat left rear.
They've got the jack out. Let's go to Bill Hennessy, see what's happening.
Previous leader Scott Sharp in. Left rear tire flat. Sharp obviously losing his chances for running at the front now. Goes back into the racing wars.
And we'll come back and show you more of today's exciting SCCA Trans Am Series event, the Grand Prix of Dallas, in a moment.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat, got no jack. Homie's gotta cut his grass. What's up?
4.5. 4.5 here down. 4.5 600 sold.
The man's rhyme sells, but he's got no beat.
Pardon me.
That was death. Yo, MC Cow Seller. Fresh.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Red balls of fire. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Driven it to raise the red balls of fire.
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
It's just kind of an annoyance.
And I'm just too embarrassed to tell him about it.
Braun Flex Control, the first electric shaver with a pivoting head. It automatically adjusts to every contour of your face. Flex Control from Braun, the last word in shavers.
For me, the ideal shaver would give me a nice close shave and can get into those tight, troubled areas very easily.
Platinum-coated twin foils and dual cutter blocks automatically adjust to give even the difficult areas of your face Braun's most comfortable and closest shave ever. Now for only 3 easy payments of $43.33, you can have the original Braun Flex Control with pivoting head in chromium-plated or black matte finish.
The best shave I've ever had.
I think the Braun shaver would be a great gift.
Call 1-800-923-3300 now. And for 3 easy payments of $43.33, the Braun Flex Control shaver with deluxe travel case can be yours. Order now and get the pocket battery shaver free. Call 1-800-923-3300 now.
Buy the Braun Flex Control. It's the best.
Well, we're back at the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas, the final event of the SCCA's Trans Am Tour. Rick Benjamin with Elliott Forbes Robinson. Great to have you with us today. An event that has been run in large measure under caution. There's been some great racing and a lot of incidents that have brought out the yellow flags. As we look back through the field, Scott Sharp and Dorsey Schrader, 8th and 9th for the restart. We saw Chris McDougall, the young driver who won the Bondurant Pro Search in his 3rd pro start in this Tom Gloy Mustang. He is up to 10th. He started way back in the pack, Elliott, and he had a top 10 finish earlier this year at Watkins Glen. He's come up through there nicely. This is quite an accomplishment. It's a heck of an accomplishment. And a track like this, Dallas track, which is extremely tough, he's had one little shunt, as we've seen, on the front of his car. But I'll tell you what, to be continuing running here without being out of the race is a great showing for him. Jack Baldwin will be the restart leader. Now, he is currently 3rd in the season point standings. Ron Fellows is 2nd. And there's about an 18-point differential between the two cars. Fellows would almost have to drop out of the race because there's not a 30 points to the winner and then a very slow drop-off back in position. But it could happen. We'll keep you posted on that as well as we are back under green here at Dallas. Jack Baldwin taking him through 1 and 2. George Robinson there 2nd. Then R.K. Smith, Bill Saunders up to 4th. We take a look back at Dorsey Schrader, Scott Sharp, and Chris McDougall trying to get closer and make it a battle again. Sharp, of course, led the first 40 or so laps. Dorsey Schrader ran 2nd. Looked like George Robinson had a little problem there. Robinson is off the pace to the inside, and that puts R.K. Smith into 2nd spot. George Robinson has nailed the tire barriers off that restart. Yeah, that's a tough spot if you don't get lined up for that exactly right. I don't know what could have happened to George to have him go in way out there. You'd have to miss the left-hand corner to get out there because that's so early in the corner. I think he did. We saw him in that loop area way offline coming out of the previous turn. He's able to stop back up, get the car refired. Let's look at it. There you see the car of Gentilozzi. There's Mitch Saunders, and there he is, rather Mitch Wright. And it looked as though Robinson may have had a little help getting offline there. Mitch Wright we saw go by. Bill Saunders is further ahead in the pack. And one of the cars with some bodywork hanging off it in an untoward spot, twitching there quite a bit. That's the car of R.K. Smith, I believe. No, it's not either. There's R.K. We'll try to get a look at that automobile for you. Well, if it's an R.K., it must be Gentilozzi. And Bill Saunders in trouble on the racetrack. Saunders, who was running up in the top 5, sounded as though he may have had gearbox problems. It looked like he was having trouble getting the car in gear. Well, I think that Saunders' car, when you look at it, excuse me, Rick, but the that may be a Gentilozzi that hit him in the back, because we saw the Camaro with the front end gone, and it looks like the back of the right corner of Saunders' car is bashed in, so maybe something happened where Gentilozzi got into him. Well, we can tell you that Jack Baldwin is leading. There's the Jeff Perner automobile. As Baldwin is running free and clear all by himself, we see the George Robinson car diving to the pits. It looks as though Paul Gentilozzi has made a move. Even though he's got that body damage, Gentilozzi has come back up to 2nd spot now. The 8th car of Mitch Wright is up to 3rd, and here's a look. That is the R.K. Smith car with some folded up bodywork on the front, dragging on the racetrack. Well, there is Gentilozzi moving by. He's got Sharp dogging him. Gentilozzi sitting in second spot behind Baldwin, then Sharp. There's Mitch Wright in car number 8. Now we have that scoring situation sorted out. He is 4th. He got passed by Sharp. He is on the lead, lapping in 4th. Dorsey Schrader back there in 5th in car number 40. Gentilozzi's doing a great job with that pranged bodywork on the front. And more trouble again. R.J. Valentine in trouble. We see the Bruce Barkaloo car, the 77, the 16 of John Gooding, all getting together down in turn 7.
Boy, and that's a bad spot because it is a blind spot for the cars when they come up. Right now, if they can't get going quickly, they've got the whole track blocked.
They do. As Gooding gets fired up, Valentine gets fired. Barkaloo's on the inside. He is apparently stalled. Now he gets going, and Valentine will wait him out and move. There's some debris on the track. They're waving the yellow up ahead. Baldwin, the leader. There's a cone evidently in the middle of the racetrack. Leaders going by. Everyone gets through safely, but as you said, a very scary situation could have developed there. Now we've got another car. Donald Sack offline through turn 9. Gentilozzi and Scott Sharp duking it out as they move up the short straight under the hill. Barkaloo will head to the pits with the 77. Gentilozzi trying to hold back Sharp as they battle for second.
Well, yes, he's doing a good job. The car seems to be braking very deep, which is not allowing Scott the chance to get by him. And he is locking up brakes and stuff, but he's just fast enough that Scott cannot get by him at the end of the straightaway.
Sharp and Gentilozzi duking it out for second spot at the moment. Gentilozzi hanging on. There's Mitch Wright in the 8 car out of the Archer Brothers stables. He's holding up their 4-car hopes here today after trouble befell both of the Archer Brothers earlier on. Gentilozzi still out in front of Sharp and then Wright. Those are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars. There's your leader, Baldwin, and the interval back to 2nd and 3rd. Sharp trying to go outside. Looked as though he was a little twitchy down into braking. Let's take a look back. Here's the pileup a lap ago. Here's Barkaloo on the outside in the 77. Then Gooding in the 16. Barkaloo twirls. R.J. Valentine there in the 7. All 3 spin and stop. And here's the car, Mark Peelsticker, the black number 99, getting through that melee. Now, Gentilozzi, lots of smoke under braking there.
Boy, there's never a dull moment in this race today. Everybody's trying to do something. Here's Scott making a run at Gentilozzi right now. Can't make it.
Had to jump on the brakes there. Yeah, he just ran out of racetrack. Gentilozzi was able to close in on him on the inside. Sharp electing to back out of the gas and let Gentilozzi go for the moment. Laps coming to a close here. 77 laps our distance. It'll be 10 to go next time by. And Gentilozzi, Sharp, and Mitch Wright running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. They've got a dandy of a 3-car battle going. Here's Sharp and Gentilozzi moving over to protect now as they move toward the next right-hand turn.
Boy, that has turned out to be a really wide number 28 Camaro there. He's making it as wide as he can. You know, he's not doing anything dangerous to Scott, but he's making Scott work for it to get by him. That's for sure.
Gentilozzi, for a guy who has not been active in the Trans Am much the last couple of years, he's driven a few races with George Robinson as his teammate. Now coming back with his own car, he's picked up the hang of this one pretty quickly again.
Boy, he has. They've got that car working really well. It's just amazing how, with locking up the brakes, he must be flat spotting that right front awfully, and still being able to out-brake Scott, who's one of the best brakers in the series.
Looks like we have another story developing. Dorsey Schrader has fallen off the pace. Dorsey and John Gooding there blocking the leaders to a certain extent. Dorsey was running right up in there in 5th spot, but he's fallen off the pace. He's moved to the inside. Here comes Gentilozzi and Sharp to put a lap on Dorsey Schrader. Tough break for our good friend, who is the former Trans Am champion himself in his Jim Durhag Camaro today, having difficulties. Gentilozzi gets by. Sharp and Wright get by. They're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Dorsey going a lap down to the leaders, and we're sorry to see that develop here late in the going at the Grand Prix of Dallas. Gentilozzi with that body damage still hanging on in 2nd. Scott Sharp with a fresh tire ought to be able to move up, you'd think, because his rubber situation ought to be a little bit better, but so far Gentilozzi has been able to hold him off. We're final laps about to wind down here in the Grand Prix of Dallas. Great racing for 2nd spot. We'll show you more of the battle when we come back in a moment.
Whenever you travel for business or pleasure across America's western states, come discover the affordable excellence of Shiloh Inns. Shiloh's friendly people are dedicated to offering you Shiloh's famous affordable excellence with clean, comfortable rooms and suites, superb dining, and also meeting and banquet facilities for those special occasions. Shiloh Inns, affordable excellence.
With an available V8, full-time four-wheel drive, standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and driver's side airbag, Jeep Grand Cherokee is fully equipped to handle life in the wild. Of course, it's also quite comfortable in more civilized surroundings. Now save up to $1,750 on select Grand Cherokees.
See your California Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Next NFL Prime Monday will get you ready for the Redskins against the Bills. We'll ask the question, are the Bills still the best in the AFC? You'll hear from Thurman Thomas and Art Monk.
The Bruins. The Red Wings. Ray Bork and the Bruins face Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings. Tuesday live on ESPN National Hockey Night.
We're back at the Grand Prix of Dallas. Rick Benjamin with Elliott Forbes Robinson. The battle for second in the final lap. Scott Sharp in the yellow 33 faking inside on Paul Gentilozzi, trying to pass on the outside. He can't do it again. Boy, Scott Sharp has pulled out all the tricks in his little black bag today.
Well, he's trying everything, and sooner or later something's going to happen here because they're going to keep trying. Gentilozzi is on the gas a little bit too hard there, slides out, almost catches the wall.
Scott Sharp now drawing to the outside as they come up the hill. They'll move toward turn one. Gentilozzi still able to hold the advantage. Sharp trying the outside move. Car in trouble. That's R.K. Smith, who had run up in second spot earlier. Suffered damage in one incident. He's popped the wall again, we understand, and he's trying to creep the car forward, maybe on the starter motor, and get it back to the pits. There's some of the body work in the loop area shedded by the R.K. Smith number 25. So the caution waving in that part of the racetrack. There's R.K. just creeping around the track. Tough break for that great campaigner out of New Mexico. Your leader Baldwin moving by. There's Randy. Check that. Bruce Nesbitt in the 55 moving by as well. And here comes your second place driver, the 28, driven today by Paul Gentilozzi, his own car out of his Rocket Sports stable. Scott Sharp is third. Less than 10 laps to go here in Dallas, and Sharp now has let Gentilozzi get away a little bit.
Yeah, the traffic has definitely helped Gentilozzi in this particular time, and Mitch Wright, we had seen just a little glimpse of earlier where he got wide. Something's happened to his car, and he's dropped way off the pace. But Gentilozzi does seem to have got himself a little bit of a gap here where he can breathe a little easier and concentrate on driving rather than defensively driving with Scott in his mirror.
While all this has been going on, this battle for second has allowed Baldwin to scoot away a little further. Baldwin with about a 10-car length lead on this driver, Paul Gentilozzi, in the black and white number 28. Scott Sharp is third, the new 1993 Trans Am Series champion. Sharp winning his second championship in 3 years. Last week.
Sharp right up on the back of him again. It seems like Sharp really can close on him, just can't get past him. The one thing I'm wondering is that how long will Gentilozzi's right front tire last with all this rubber he's rubbing off of it in all these corners? He's doing it a lot of places.
Considering the problems he's had, you would think that he would be having difficulty hanging on. We take a look again at the Bondurant Pro Search winner, Chris McDougall. He is up to 7th spot in that Tom Gloy Mustang, now lapping by Don Sack in the 10. Randy Ruhlman right behind him in another Mustang. McDougall doing a fine job with all that front bodywork damage. That wouldn't look like it would be enough to upset the airflow over the car terribly much.
Not at a track like this. You haven't got a lot of high-speed corners. You've got a reasonably high-speed straight, but all the corners are slow. And but the thing is that he's keeping out of all the trouble right now. And I don't know how he's even doing that, but it's a heck of a job because some excellent drivers are having a lot of trouble with walls and slower cars. And he's out here running some obviously very good lap times. And for a guy in his third Trans Am, this is incredible.
It's a great performance on a day when great performances have been hard to come by behind the wheel of these Trans Am automobiles. We watch Chris McDougall just moving out of the way of that bodywork. R.K. Smith left some fiberglass back there, and it's in the line to a certain extent. Take a look at Ron Fellows in the AAR McKenzie Mustang. Greg Pickett, who had problems earlier going by. Fellows up to 5th spot now. Fellows doing a nice job soldiering on now. Gentilozzi under braking, a lot of smoke into turn 1. Scott Sharp trying to mount a charge. Sharp laying back, trying to cut underneath him in turn 1. He can't do it.
It's a tough spot because it tightens up so much into turn 2 that there isn't room to go side by side through there. But you know, the other thing that is happening to these guys right now, it's been a long race on a hot, humid day. and very high temperature in these cars, and your reactions aren't the same at the end of a race at the beginning of the race. So you're calling on everything you've got in reserves to make this happen right now.
Cars have been on the track now for about, well, a good long time. Coming up on 73rd lap, and here's Sharp to the inside, grabbing second spot back from Gentilozzi. Finally wore him out on the inside.
Yep, Gentilozzi has worked and worked to keep him back, and I think now you're just going to see Scott pull away because he's been held up a lot by Gentilozzi, I believe.
Well, Gentilozzi hung on gamely there for second spot, but now it's Scott Sharp blowing by, and Sharp will work up. We see Baldwin, the leader. Sharp isn't that far behind. We'll take a look and see if Scott Sharp can make a battle out of this when we continue with our coverage of the Grand Prix of Dallas. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
For quick response, for smooth acceleration, turn him loose. For a cleaner engine, turn him loose. Move up to high-octane Exxon Supreme and turn the Tiger loose.
Here's a camera tip. In order to get a nice steady picture, one that doesn't jiggle or bounce around, remember, it's important your camera be mounted on a solid object specially designed to minimize vibration. Dodge Intrepid, running at, let's say, 85 miles an hour, would be a particularly good choice. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Are you ready?
At your leader, Jack Baldwin, in car number 1, looking for his second consecutive Trans Am victory to wrap up the '93 season. There's Scott Sharp running second in the Rain-X Camaro. Sharp qualified on the pole for the 9th time this season for this weekend's event, the Grand Prix of Dallas. Laps winding down here on this street course laid out around Reunion Arena where the Dallas Mavericks play NBA basketball. Jack Baldwin will end what has been not the smoothest of defending champion seasons with 2 in a row, and he'll be a very happy guy if he can hang on. He goes by the off-pace car, Bruce Barkaloo. Barkaloo's been in the wall a couple of times here today. He's very many laps down at this point. Baldwin in car number 1, Sharp right behind him in the yellow 33 car, trying to get close and make a battle out of it. Only 3 laps to go, Elliott. Does Sharp have enough time to get up there and make a race out of this?
Sharp does. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him right now because Jack is really going quite well. And Jack, as you said, really does want to win this race because he's had such a struggle this year that he really wants to have another win and finish this off on a high note.
First 2 cars, Baldwin and Sharp going by. Then the lapped cars of the 0 and the 77. There's Gentilozzi running 3rd. Another lap car, that's Peel Stickers 99. There's Dorsey Schrader, a couple of laps down. We're going to show you the 4th place car, the number 8 of Mitch Wright, just coming under the bridge now. A couple of lap cars ahead there. There is the 8 car running 4th. That's Mitch Wright. And then the 4 of Fellows running in 5th spot. As Fellows negotiates turn 1. That's your top 5 at this point. Bill Saunders still being shown 6th, even though he's had problems in the Highwaymaster Dodge. There's your 2nd place driver, Sharp. Working that very treacherous turn 6 and 7 area and heading up toward the final couple of corners and coming out onto the main straightaway. Baldwin should see 2 laps to go this time by. This will be lap 75 on the board. Baldwin now, all he needs to do is stay out of trouble, and with all the attrition we've had, that might not be too tough to do. White flag is out, we understand, so this is the last time around. The lap count being up to 76 on us. Baldwin, your leader. Sharp at 2nd spot. Jack Baldwin in car number 1, the defending series champion, has this one pretty much in hand, but Scott Sharp's going to try to get up on him and make a race out of it. Now, these two drivers have battled for victory before, even though they're teammates. That doesn't mean they're going to be shy about this, but it looks as though Baldwin will have a fairly easy time of it the last half lap or so here at Dallas.
Well, Scott's going to give him everything, but you can tell by the move that Jack made earlier in the race that he was going after Scott. But I think right now Scott just doesn't have enough time to catch Jack, even though he is a little bit faster now, and Jack is on the straight and on his way home.
Jack Baldwin will head under the railroad station here at Reunion Arena. The rest of the field getting the white flag. Here's the checkered flag for Jack Baldwin, your winner in the Hot Wheels Camaro, the number 1. Second to Scott Sharp, his teammate, the pole sitter today. A great 1-2 finish for Buzz McCall's team.
Isn't it a great finish? They've had such a great last couple of years. Oh, my gosh.
Well, Chris McDougal in car number 12, as we look back in the field, goes by the Bill Saunders car. Now, Saunders was being shown 6th. McDougal has gone by him. Saunders evidently in the wall at some point around the course, so McDougal may move up and get 6th spot out of this. The winner of the Bondurant Pro Search. Here comes Chris McDougal under the checkered flag. This is only his 3rd start in a Trans Am car. He won this ride with Tom Gloy and the Bob Bondurant Pro Search group earlier in the year. His 2nd top 10 finish in a Trans Am in only his first 3 starts.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, it's a great car that Tom Gloy puts out there for him. But the interesting thing is that he's right up there, not far behind Ron Fellows, who finished in 5th place, and he's right behind him.
Some outstanding performances here in the Grand Prix of Dallas, the 1993 Trans Am season closer. Your winner today, Jack Baldwin. We get another look at Scott Sharp, who started from the pole, ends up a fine 2nd today. We'll come back to meet the winner and tell you more of today's story in a moment.
Your Genie screwdriver door opener work?
You got this big screw, see? And it's real long, and the thing just turns like that, so the door slides real quiet.
Any mom with a lot of kids could use a Genie.
Genie screwdriver, built for a lifetime.
Sir, do you ever spend $70 for a motel room?
Yes, I do.
May I see your wallet, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Throwing your money away. You do.
Don't throw your money away. Hit the roof. Red Roof Inns.
More to the left, Bob.
Riddick Bowe defends his heavyweight title in a rematch against former champion Evander Holyfield. SportsCenter will be there all week with nightly reports, live weigh-in, plus pre- and post-fight coverage, beginning Monday on ESPN SportsCenter. You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
ESPN Speed World, brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America.
Welcome back to downtown Dallas, the 1993 Grand Prix of Dallas into the books. The SCCA Trans Am Tour season completed. Victory to Jack Baldwin, but boy, a lot of drivers and a lot of crews. It's a good thing that there's no more racing this year, Elliott Forbes Robinson. These teams are going to have a lot of work to do to get these cars put back together. Let's check in Victory Lane. Bill Hennessy standing by with Jack Baldwin.
Was it hot out there, Jack?
Yeah, it was hot, and I knew it was going to be hot. But I'm going to tell you something. This Hot Wheels Camaro ran hot all day long, and I just can't say enough about the opportunity I had with Chevrolet and American Equipment Racing and Buzz McCall. The beautiful opportunity to be the driver of this fantastic Hot Wheels Camaro.
Apparently, you had enough horse under you to stay up front.
Well, you know, I had a plan today, and the pace up front was pretty good pace. I thought the boys up front, Dorsey and Scott, was doing a great job. I had a lot of car under me, and I was just waiting for the right time to use it. And there was a little bit of everything out there on the racetrack as far as action and spins and thrills.
Prior to the race, you said you were going to win. Your prediction came true.
Well, we left Mid-Ohio with a lot of confidence. We knew we could do it. We missed the, you know, we felt like we should have qualified a little better. We knew we had a fast car. And I'm going to tell you something. Today, the Mattel Hot Wheels Camaro was fast. And I have to say that my Goodyear tires were fantastic all day. They held right up just like they're supposed to.
Jack Baldwin certainly with plenty to be proud of here in Dallas. 2 victories to wrap up the 1993 Trans Am season. Star of the Race award to Bill Saunders, who turned in a great drive even though he caught the wall a couple of times. The Rising Star and the Champion Hard Charger award both to Chris McDougall in that car out of the Tom Gloy shops, the Bob Bondurant Pro Search winner.
That's an excellent job for him. He deserves both the awards. Excellent drive, staying out of trouble, and going very quickly. And Jack Baldwin winning with an excellent move around his teammate Scott Sharp on the outside of a very difficult corner.
A tough afternoon. Was it harder than you thought it was going to be?
Well, I sure wasn't hoping to get a cut tire, that's for sure. But we came back, and I mean, Paul held me up a lot. He's a great blocker, that's for sure. But I finally got him, and then it was just I ran out of time trying to catch up to Jack. You know, all week long, right next to Camaro, we've had a fast car. I got to really thank the guys. I mean, they've just kept dialing us right in. I think it was pretty obvious today. Yeah, I just got to thank God, thank Chevrolet and Ranex for the opportunity, and most of all the guys. They just worked so hard.
A lot of carnage here today, a lot of cars damaged throughout the course of the afternoon. Elliot, that's not what you expect in the Trans Am Tour, but a new racetrack.
Well, it's a new racetrack, very tight racetrack, very hard to get around people. And I think when you get down to the last race in the year, some people think that you're going to go as hard as you can, and if you give it up, you got a couple months to fix the car.
Well, they certainly will have that time before the 1994 Trans Am season opens up. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage here today of the Grand Prix of Dallas. On pit road for us, Bill Hennessy. For Elliot Forbes Robinson, I'm Rick Benjamin. We'll talk to you next time